Hi everybody and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion again. So for this video I'm not going to talk about any politics or anything. For those who don't know, it is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. This month, every October from the 1st to the 31st, it's Down Syndrome Awareness. And for those who don't know, I do have a daughter with Down Syndrome. It's my little baby, the angel in my heart, my little Jasmine, who suffers from Down syndrome. So, the thing that I'm going to speak to about today, because I'm going to do as many videos about Down syndrome as I can this month, but one of the things I thought I'd speak about is to do with abortion. Now, through my life, I've only ever known two people that have openly admitted to having abortion. Well, actually, I know three, but they've never admitted it to me. Okay, but I know two people that have openly admitted to having an abortion. Now, whenever I ask any woman through my life if I would ever have an abortion under any circumstances, no matter what it is, whether it's a case they're too old, they've been raped, whatever, they always say no. They'd never have an abortion. Okay. Now, when me and my wife found out that my daughter was going to be born with Down syndrome, we had actually been advised to go to Princess Anne Hospital in Southampton, which is the maternity hospital. And my wife had few scans because we found out that there was a heart defect and everything. And we met this lovely doctor. He was one of the heart specialists from Southampton General. And I'll tell you what, he was out of this world, a Dr. Black. You ever get to meet him, you can't go wrong. And I remember me and my wife being put in a room with him. And he basically went through what was wrong with our heart and everything. And he said to us, there's a 99.9999% chance that she's going to be born with Down syndrome. So I said, there's still a 0.1% chance, but she's not. And he said, no, she's going to have Down syndrome. And I said, I've got a problem with that. I said, I know nothing about Down syndrome. I've never even met anybody with Down syndrome. I don't know a single thing about it. And I remember still clear as day. Now my daughter's 6 next month. And Dr. Black said to me, right, on your way home on the train, because he knew that we came by train, go on the internet and do some research. Do as much research as you can. And basically, as soon as we walked out of that hospital, started going onto YouTube, went onto Wikipedia, and all these types of sites, even went on the NHS website, if I remember rightly, and started researching Down syndrome. I think I stayed up until about 1 o'clock in the morning doing my research, because once you tell me to do something like that, I'm like a dog with a bone. Don't let it go and just do it until job's done. And I remember watching one program, I think it was like a panorama program, where this woman who had a child with Down syndrome basically did a documentary about what it was like. Because she had, if I remember rightly, she had 3 children, the youngest one had Down syndrome. And the thing that I found the worst, which I couldn't believe, was the rate in the UK that people, or should I say probably women, will terminate a pregnancy the moment they find out the child has Down syndrome. And the thing I couldn't believe, that when I was looking into the stats, and this was the horrifying bit, and if you remember, everybody asked will say no, they'd never do it. But I'll read you this stat. Okay, this is from 2022, so it's only a few years ago. Okay, so in 2022, there were 799 abortions where a baby had Down syndrome in England and Wales. So this is just England and Wales, making a 17% increase from the previous year. Okay. And the rate of terminations is 90%. It's 90%. It's absolutely crazy. Now, why is it? Because at the time, and I still remember this clear as day, when we found out that Jasmine had a heart condition, we knew that she was going to require a AVSD TOF repair. And my wife turned to me, and I'll be one of the few men this has actually happened to, where my wife said to me, "Do you want me to terminate?" Okay, my wife put it on me. She wasn't making the decision, she put it on me. And I said to her, "I don't know." Honestly, I said, I don't know. Because in a way I was in shock at the time. And I remember at the time, I phoned up my mother and my father. My father, who's 80 now, so this was coming on for 6 years ago, is a staunch person against abortion. He told me to get my wife Joanne, to abort. My mum, who used to work within the NHS, she used to work within cancer research, she said, "Do what you feel is right." So from that information, that the two closest people in my life, apart from obviously my wife and my kids, gave me that information, I turned to my wife and I said to her, "No." And this was the reason. And this is a bit of a coward's way out. This was the actual reason. And my wife knows this. So if anybody messages my wife on TikTok or anything like that, or on Facebook, she'll tell you this. I never had the guts to be able to say to my kids they weren't going to be having a brother or sister now because we were terminated. So that was the actual reason. It was a bit of self-preservation on myself. And because my wife had had issues in the past, I thought, at least if she doesn't survive, which we were being told she wouldn't be able to survive, my kids would be able to say, do proper goodbyes to her at the end of the day. So we went on with it. But what did upset me was 90% of women would terminate. Now, at the time, I was really ticked off about seeing that statistic. 90% of women will terminate. And at the time, I thought, but why? Why terminate? They can live a reasonably normal life, not completely normal, but they can have a decent life. You know, children with Down syndrome, they can live into their 70s nowadays. It's not like the days gone by where they'd be slammed into a home and they'd be lucky if they get into their 30s. That's not the case anymore. And then, obviously, after having her, and she had her issues, and she had her heart, open heart surgery and everything. And everybody would always ask me. They never asked after Jasmine. Doesn't bloody happen anymore. Just got walked down the street. I can't even walk down the street without being stopped, asking after Jasmine. Walking to the playground. Did the mums come up to speak to me? You know, Adam Sandler, Big Daddy and everything. Don't work. They come up to Jasmine. They don't come and speak to me. I'm thinking, I might have a chance of getting lucky or something. Nah, it's a load of rubbish. Anybody that watches Big Daddy with Adam Sandler, don't bother watching it. Don't work. Trust me, I know. They always come up to Jasmine, which is good for her at the end of the day. Now, being a slightly older father, and this is the way I look at it. and this doesn't mean that I'm correct, and some people may disagree with me. Now, if you're an older parent, had a few kids, or you're in a stable relationship, whether that's husband and wife, or husband and husband, or wife and wife, whatever, don't personally care, whatever way you decide to swing, that's down to you. I don't see any reason why you should terminate. Seriously, I don't. If you're a younger parent, say for instance 16 to maybe 21 years old, and I'm not going to try and judge anybody, and maybe you've had a one night stand, or you was with somebody and it's all gone pear-shaped and everything, and you're going to be on your own having to bring up a child with Down syndrome, I can understand to a degree. I can truly understand, because there are challenges that come with it. Yes, they give you unconditional love, and truly they do. If I ask my daughter Jasmine for a cuddle, she'll come running over to me and give me a cuddle. If I ask her for a kiss, she'll give me a kiss on the cheek. Okay, it is true what they say. They give you unconditional love, no matter what. But there are challenges. Now, I'm the type of person where I would never, ever, ever tell anybody to terminate a Down syndrome pregnancy. Now, I know, because of the way the NHS works, they will ask you right up until the time of delivery. If you take as an example, when my wife went into labour, well, she actually got induced 2 weeks early. Right before they induced her, they asked her if she still wanted a termination. That's what doctors have got to do. It says they have to offer that. Whether it's appropriate or not, or right or wrong, that's not for me to judge. As a doctor, they are obliged to offer you that. Okay, I personally think it's wrong, but they are obliged. So the fundamental thing is there any grounds in the UK with the medicine we have for having a termination rate of 90%? Because I don't understand that. I can't grasp that concept of why it is so high. Why, if I ask anybody, would they have a termination, they will categorically say no. But as soon as you put those two words, Down syndrome, in front of them, 9 out of 10 women will terminate. So what I would like, I don't want any men to message me. No men at all. All I want to hear from is women. Okay, that's all I want to hear from. Any women over the age of 16, okay, to tell me why they would terminate a Down syndrome child. That's what I want to hear. Now, obviously this month is about Down syndrome awareness, and this is probably not a great subject to start the month on, but I think it's a very important subject, because my personal view is the rate is way high, and whether that's because people do not know how great a life Down syndrome children can have. My daughter's happy as Larry. You go and look on her TikTok channel, I don't think there's a single video of her unhappy, which is Downs with Jasmine. So if you want to go and take a look at it, be my guest, you can go and watch her videos. She has got loads of them. So for now, thanks for everybody for watching, but for now, If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and share. And if you're new to the channel, please do give us a follow, subscribe as well. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.